Which countries have recently asked France to not be a part of their own country or protect them? Which three countries are there? Chad, Ivory, Cote d'Ivoire, and Senegal. Earlier, which three other countries were there which were initially not a part of it? Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. All these are West African countries. Generally, when we talk about the colony, we saw these countries being, uh, you know, having big colonies. Which countries were having big colonies? All the European countries. We just going to describe it through map. ये वेस्ट अफ्रीका है, ये इस करके पढ़ रहे हैं बिकॉज इन तीन कंट्रीज ने जनरली फ्रांस की थोड़ी थोड़ी आर्मी स्टेशन थी इन कंट्रीज में, बिकॉज फ्रांस की थोड़ी थोड़ी आर्मी स्टेशन थी इन कंट्रीज में. क्यों स्टेशन थी? बिकॉज दीज वर इनिशियली अ पार्ट ऑफ द फ्रेंच कॉलोनीज. जैसे ब्रिटेन ने ऑक्यूपाई किया हुआ था वैसे ही इन्होंने ऑक्यूपाई किया हुआ था सर्टेन पार्ट्स ऑफ अफ्रीका. जब वर्ल्ड को आजादी मिली तो ये कॉलोनीज के अंदर फ्रांस ने थोड़ा थोड़ा सा इन्फ्लुएंस के लिए अपनी आर्मीज वगैरह छोड़ दी. सोवरेनिटी की बात आई तो ये थ्री कंट्रीज अब दे हैव agreed with these three other countries, that is Mali, there is your Burkina Faso and Niger. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger में अभी recently क्या चल रहा था? lot of coups, military coups. So military dictators were coming over and taking over. That is what was happening in these countries. उसको overtake करने के लिए, so France said, okay, we will support. हम अपनी army दे देंगे. It's been going on for 20 years, but now things have started changing. Which two other countries have replaced France is basically Russia and China. China through economic, Russia किसके through करती है? Through mercenaries. Mercenaries क्या है? जो पैसे लेके fighting करते हैं. They have weapons and everything. इसका best example Russia के mercenaries कौन से हैं? There's a group. What was the name of the Russian mercenaries? Anyone? Generally, they almost outsaid the Putin also. They said कि this was the case of the thing. That is like Wagner group. ये सब लोग थे. These are the mercenaries who are fighting. Now, why we are doing this? Again, very simple thing. The French influence in West Africa is getting over. Which three countries have recently said that France needs to get away? जैसे इंडिया को मोल्डोवीज ने बोल दिया कि इंडियन ट्रूप्स नहीं होने चाहिए हमारी सॉइल पे, वैसे ही यहाँ पे 1000+ ट्रूप्स थे almost every country में. Which three countries have come together right now? Chad, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. Initially, they were colonies of the France. On January 1st, Ivory Coast president announced that French troops would withdraw from the country by end of the month. उससे पहले Chad, उससे पहले Senegal. They had said for the closure of all French military bases, commenting that their presence was incompatible with the country's national sovereignty. उससे पहले Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Chad have joined three West Asian countries, which one? Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. If you look at this, this is Cote d'Ivoire, that is Ivory Coast. Then you have Burkina Faso, Mali, you have Niger. These three countries were going through major issues. इनको बोलते हैं, these three countries were going through major issues. अभी कौन सी countries के अंदर से निकल गए? Senegal, Chad, and Cote d'Ivoire. अब ये पूछो. Yes. This one. This is Chad. Is it clear? So अगर हम बात करें अटलांटिक ओशन में कौन सी? सिएरा लियोन, the country having the lowest literacy. Guyana, Gambia. You have this. Gambia is this country only. This is Senegal, Mauritius, Mali. पहले कौन सी कंट्रीज लिखी? माली, बुर्किना फासो, नाइजर. यहाँ पे मेजर इशू क्या था बुर्किना फासो, माली, नाइजर में? इस्लामिक टेररिज्म एंड ऑल दिस वाज हैपनिंग. मिलिट्री कूप्स चल रहे थे. फिर कौन सी? हाँ, सॉरी, हाँ, majority of Africa is Islamic countries. That is what we see. Majority of Africa is in terms of its Islamic countries. Is it clear? So which are the countries that we have? Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal, We have Cote d'Ivoire and which one? Chad, recently to get away. Okay. Now, why did Chad, Ivory Coast, and Senegal ask for French troop withdrawal? First, the narrative of incompatibility with national sovereignty. Of course, हम कोई भी country नहीं चाहती. In their area, there should be some other country to present. So that is the first case of it. 1,000 troops in Chad, 600 in Ivory Coast, 350 in Senegal. Since independence, France has colonial pacts with these former colonies to maintain economic, political, and military influence. They were all colonies of France. West Africa was majority occupied by France or Portugal. Referred to as France Frac. In Senegal and Ivory Coast, French troops have been stationed since 2014 by Operation Barkhane. याद रखना कौन सा ऑपरेशन था? Barkhane.
So the US has troops like almost in all countries.
US doesn't have it in Africa. It was all Europeans having in Africa. Now Europeans are getting out of Africa because France, being the country that it was, it allowed people to come to France and settle there. If you look at majority of their footballers, Algerian descendant and everything, so they all have those descendants because France. So like we have colonies and they started following this. Right now, all Europe has started turning towards right-wing politics. What is right-wing politics? They say we do not want people from outside. We want people from our own country.
So the people who were coming in boats and landing in Spain and France.
That is different.
That's different. Not of colonies or anything.
No, जो colonies वालों को तो फिर भी allow कर देते हैं. One वो नहीं हो सकता. Even when President Trump had recently passed a legislation saying that we are changing the thing from right to birth. If you're born there, you will not get the citizenship. It is cancelled by the Supreme Court. It's cancelled by Supreme Court, his order.
It's in the Constitution, right?
The Constitution says it. So Constitution cannot be amended. You first amend the Constitution and then you can do an executive order. So his order cancelled already. Stay mil chuki hai. His thing is very clear. He's correct about it. Illegal immigrants come to US. They produce the baby there. The law very clearly states if you're born there, you're a citizen.
Yeah.
The baby gets all the rights. Now, a child of the age of 0 to 3 cannot stay without parents. The parents come in.
Yeah.
Then they apply for the legal process through which they get it.
Yeah.
So they start availing benefits without paying any taxes. So that's why he said it. Kehta, if they are legal and if you've come here as a PR or you've got a visa, H1, you're coming legally, you are having a child, perfectly fine. But if you're illegal, then the child should not get it. He passed that resolution for his.
That's what he meant, not that any. Okay.
But then again, sorry, if anybody is legal, why would? There are a lot of illegals also. There are a lot of illegals also and legals also. There are people having a PR. So what do we say? I'll tell you. The majority, जिनके पास citizenship है वो तो legally है. There are certain people having it legal which have come from Mexico and all these places they've come. You're talking about Indian origin people. Indian origin can be anything. We are talking about their Indian origins, जिनके पास citizenship है, they are legal. जिनके पास PRs है वो legal है, जिनके पास green card है वो legal है. जो cross करके आए हैं, which they have entered America, then they are illegal. So the best way of doing it, वो क्या करते हैं? जैसे border cross किया, passport फाड़ देते हैं. Since you don't have an identity, they cannot send you to any country.
Okay.
So as soon as that's the first thing that they do, as soon as they cross over from Mexico border to US border, the passport is gone. Since you have no identity, which country would US send you to? You don't have an identity.
So why don't the same people who escape North Korea, why don't they do that?
Because there's only one border between North Korea and South Korea. South Koreans know who's coming in. Like now Bangladesh.
The South Koreans take all North Koreans, right?
South Korea
takes considers entire Korea as their citizen.
Yes.
To South Korea,
they get it, but then again, it is creating a lot of job problems also. So South Koreans have the same issues there because they say, okay, we are not getting jobs. These people who are coming from outside are taking our jobs. So the same thing is happening there.
Also, how is US and South Korea?
US and South Korea have a good relationship because of the Korean War. When the Korean War happened, this was divided into two portions. One was a red dominated. When I say red dominated, it means the capitalist. and one was a blue dominated portion that was under the US, who started supporting US. Now, in Korea also, they have a very strong law whereby majority of the presidents have been impeached and given death penalties also. Present day time, this President Moon was a public investigator. What is a public? The former president of South Korea, who imposed a military emergency. So what happened? He was a public, what do you call it? Is basically a lawyer who basically finds corruption cases. That's how he became very powerful and everything. Now, they are also facing a major identity crisis in terms of democracy, because then again there are large corruptions and everything happen in South Korea also. Of course, it is a better condition as compared to North Korea. So now there are again two groups. One says we should fight North Korea, and the other group says that we should maintain healthy relationships with North Korea. So there are two groups again. Every country has its own problems. They're doing really well economically, but they have issues related to the same. Now, when I talked about it, same is the case of US, same is the case of everything. So his presidential orders today cancelled by the court itself because they say constitution it is not valid. So same is the case of France. Now in France, a lot of they used to allow these people to come in, but as you saw in France also, European Union also won. Who won European Union elections? Right wing. France also, you saw majority of the elections being run by. What is right wing? They say insulation. That Europe does not need to give any money to any countries, because Europe used to spend a lot of money to Africa and everything to maintain economic interest and everything. Now Europe, all like Trump coming in, they say, why should we spend money? You spend your money. Why should we do it? But they're not understanding it's changing the world order. So the African countries are dependent on, of course, money is given, corruption happens, nothing reaches the poor. The top cream always takes it away. Every country, it's the same. Sab kuch same. Same thing is happening here. But it was creating an order in which Europe and America was very powerful. Now what has happened, since Europe is getting away, so they're going to do any force which gets away, something else has to fill in now. So Russia is simple. Russia says, we are not interested in anything. Give us money, we'll fight for you. That's it. But France used to have a problem related to all the Europeans used to say, why should you kill so many people? Here also they're dictators. All Africa is dictators. So they say we want to kill one group, they want to kill the entire group. Russian soldiers don't ask anything. They say kill, kill. France is more like a democracy. They say we will not fight, do this, we will not do this. So one reason why they're being kicked out is this. Second of all, Russian troops are available. Third, China has come in. China has started which initiative? Belt Road Initiative. So all the money is coming from China. So no country can say no to it. So if one power is getting away, the second power is coming. Whereas the European Union says, oh, we need to only consider for ourselves. These buggers are coming into our place. They have destroyed our Europe. They have destroyed how Europe should be. They should not be here. The Africans should not be here. We are not going to give money. So this is creating this isolation problem in the entire world. Same is happening in India also. We say we don't want people from outside. That's very much true. Is it clear? What is the operation? Operation Barkhane. For Chad, the defense pact existed for decades and did not align with security requirements. Chad president was Mohamed Dabi, says ending the defense agreements is like taking back national sovereignty. Ivory Coast and Senegal have followed a similar footstep for reciprocal relationship that respects each other, independence and sovereignty. What is this Frankfurt? It came during the time of the former president that was there. It was also during Macron time. It was introduced. Emmanuel Macron के टाइम पे था, 10 साल हो चुके हैं, तब इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था, अभी हट गया. France sphere of influence, that is what Frankfurt means. Over French and also Belgian colonies in sub-Saharan, the term was derived from the expression France Africa, Frankfurt. That was the term for it, जहाँ से वो करते थे, which was by the French president, used by the first presidents of Ivory Coast in 55 to describe his country's close ties with France. It was later pejoratively renamed Frankfurt by Francis Xavier Versailles in 19 to criticize the alleged corrupt and clandestine activities of various France African political, economic, military networks. Also defines France neocolonialism. Secondly, public dissatisfaction, just like in Maldives, what has happened? Public was dissatisfied with what? Why was public dissatisfied? Public was again dissatisfied. Yes or no? Yes or no? Why was public dissatisfied? Because of what? They don't want India to be coming there. Yes or no? They said, why is Indian troops coming there? So this is the same issue that was happening here. They said, why are the French troops coming here? We don't want the French troops to be here. We don't want any of these people to be here because they are just colonizing. There's nothing here for, they're not here for anything else.
For protection.
Yes. French troops have been fighting insurgent groups linked to Islamic State and Al Qaeda in West Africa since because there is also issue of Al Qaeda. Terrorism is there. Despite their military presence, French troops failed to quell the insurgency in the regions. Insurgency, कौन सी 3 countries में हुई थी? Mali. Which one? Other? Niger. And one more? Yes. No, Sierra Leone is the lowest literacy. Which other country? SCA. Senegal. Senegal तो बाद में हुई है. Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso.
These were the ones. You also saw so many इसमें terrorist organization. Let me tell you.
So the ideology of all Islamic terrorist organization is to bring the Sharia law everywhere.
Yes.
So
plus they not convert. They have started with this.
They also kill, right? Not
yes.
like they convert, they kill off.
They're killing. They are taking students as a. They took. This is an example. Have you heard of this name? Boko Haram.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about.
So Boko Haram is a terrorist organization which talks about it, which says कि हम तो भाई लोगों को वो कर देंगे. This is all happening in Niger, Cameroon, and all these places. So where they, I'll just show it to you. Boko Haram was the place. Nobody talks about it. This is Africa. They captured. Sahel, I'll also explain to you. They killed 40 civilians of farming community like this.
Why?
They are just trying to create a separate order because in Africa there is no proper rule and everything.
But most of them are Muslim in Africa.
But they still have, because tribal chiefs are still there. They still follow that.
Oh,
they're all broken. They're all broken up. So this is the case of it. Okay, it has spread and this degenerated across the region. This raised anti-French sentiments alongside a public demand for their withdrawal. The West Africa quest to move beyond France recently, many African countries have shown interest in diversifying their relations from traditional colonial to new partners. The military government in West Africa, Niger and Burkina Faso have better military relationship with Russian mercenaries to fight insurgents. So, Boko Haram ko maarne ke liye, they're using Russian. For military leaders, Russian mercenaries do not come with baggage of adhering to democratic views. Besides, Russia has successfully spread an image of better security provider in Africa. They say, pay us money, we'll kill anybody that you have to. So Russia is using its weapons. Russia also has to make money. How does French withdrawal mean from this? Which were the earlier countries? These are Sahel countries. SAHEL.
Sahel means the place.
No, it's these Sahel countries where there was a lot of military coups happening, people were fighting, and you had the rise of Boko Haram. where France was the one generally supposedly providing security, but it could not. So these countries came together. French withdrawal and Russia arrival has addressed or contained insurgencies. Rather, these three countries rank among the top in global terrorism index by the Institute of Economic and Peace. The military regimes have centered the region with new alliance of Sahel states between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The common anti-French settlement would likely bring Chad, Senegal, and also to join Sahel. What is alliance of Sahel? This is another because different things. This is related to Africa, the thing that we are. What is Sahel Alliance? Formed between Mali, Niger, and Burkina. It originated as a defense pact on this, creating following the Nigerian crisis. Nigerian में क्या था? आधी government, आधा rule कौन कर रहा है? Boko Haram. In which three Sahel three जो अभी initially निकली थी. अब possibility है there Sahel region where Boko Haram and all this Islamic things are there.
The name of the region is Sahel.
Sahel, SAHEL. Now there could be a pact with another more countries. Chad, Senegal, and Ivory Coast, because they all were initially under France, like supported. Bloc threatened to intervene military to restore civilian rule after coup in Niger earlier this year. All three members are former members of economically. This is the economically wealth of West Asian Africa, sub-Saharan countries. Currently under the control of juntas. Juntas क्या होता है? Local government. Following a string of successful coups, the 2021 Malian coup d'etat in September 2022, Burkina Faso, and 2023 Nigeria. Three countries कौन सी थी जो military rule के अंदर है? Mali, Burkina Faso, और Nigeria. The confederation was established on this. It was against policy of neocolonialism in Africa, and the world is also anti-French and anti-this. What is ECWS? Economic Community of West African States. Is a region, political and economic union of 15 countries of West Africa collectively so and so. In सबसे different because साहिल क्या था? जो ये 15 countries थी कहती हम troops भेजेंगे civilian rule करने के लिए, पर जो military rulers है वो नहीं चाहते. कौन से तीन military rulers हैं? Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. Which countries have recently got out of it? Senegal, Chad, and which other? Ivory Coast. That's how Sahel countries come into existence. ECOW is the Economic Community of West African States, 15 countries. What does the withdrawal mean for France? The withdrawal would, for implication, first is the obituary of France Africa. Yeah. This is khatam. Ab to koi bacha hi nahi hai. Under President Macron, the withdrawal marks the end of France Africa, giving prominence to maintaining a strong economic and diplomatic. Secondly, decline in political influence affects economic relationships. Since President Ouattara किसका था? Chad. He came in support. जब से Gbagbo आया तब से ये किसको फ्रांस की तरफ नहीं है. Third, a warning military presence, warning means decreasing, could impact international. Sorry? Second में क्या हुआ है कि बेसिकली जब इनके चैड का प्रेसिडेंट चेंज हुआ तो इससे पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस कम हो गया फ्रांस का. जैसे शेख हसीना बांग्लादेश में बहुत सपोर्ट करते थे. Now with Sheikh Hasina gone, what is happening? How much is the minorities in Bangladesh? How many minorities are there in Bangladesh? 9% is Hindus in Bangladesh. 9% of the population is Hindus. Right now, majority of the Hindus MPs are also put in jail. So we are saying there is a lot of atrocities happening against the minority community. Sheikh Hasina was there, this was not happening. Now it is the opposite of it. So there's a backdoor influence which is happening right now. So it may not, it was initially a push by the student saying, but it's not that Bangladesh is really happy right now. Who's happy?
Do we accept, like, for example, if somebody, ran away from Bangladesh, we don't accept them?
We are giving political refuge to a lot of people right now from Bangladesh, especially the minority communities. अब बांग्लादेश से अभी जिसने stabbed Saif Ali Khan, it turned out he had come from Bangladesh and he crossed the river. So many people are coming here. Similarly, our border security is not that well. Now we are having issues with Bangladesh. Now the issues are going to further have problem.
There are a lot of people fleeing from Bangladesh.
Now there are going to be more because of the fact. Now it is very true. When we talk about India, they were saying the world was saying that India or minorities are not safe. India is way safer for minorities compared to Bangladesh. But nobody, and right now Bangladesh is issuing the same statements: do not intervene into our personal affairs. That's what we also get. Do not intervene into our personal affairs. Is it clear? Warning of military presence would impact international reputation. The military has supported pro-France African leaders to maintain political economic stability. Ab pro-France rahe nahi de. Is it clear? Fourth, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have pushed out French troops involuntarily, which are now either replaced by Russian mercenaries or engulfed in military coups. The French, making French influence impossible. It is certain for Ivory Coast, given its political economic ties with France after independence. Uncertain for Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast was very close to France. So even then they have the case of it. Is it clear or not? There's a larger waning European influence in Africa. There's a major influence in Africa. First of all, I've told you, EU is struggling with shifting political landscape, security, and EU खुद क्या कर रहा है? EU खुद बोल रहा है anti-European sentiment चल ही रहा है, because EU किसी को वो नहीं दे रहा, citizenship नहीं दे रहा. France used to give freely. Now, as soon as there was, I'll give an example. There was an ad. There was a cartoon, Charles Hebdo. He made cartoons on Prophet Muhammad, and there was a firing there. All because of this. Then all African people were the ones who had come and settled in France. They were the ones involved for it. Even any crimes which are happening, Paris, they say most romantic. I would say it is the most pathetic city. Nobody shows it. So what is happening is all these people are staying in the.
They're on the road.
They're on the road. They're sleeping.
Defecate on the road.
They're defecating. Everything.
It smells horrible.
Yeah. Paris is just सिर्फ देखने को ठीक है. वो जो Eiffel Tower area. This is just the Eiffel area. Just the Eiffel. Not hippie culture. These are Africans only. They're coming.
No, all the migrants came and they are homeless also. So they have tents and they do everything on the street. Like if you go to a slum in Delhi, it looks like that.
I think so. Ours looks even better.
Ours does
no, ours is better.
And Paris is full of rats. And
rats.
Vermin. Like you think it's great. I have a friend who went there and
so they are really pathetic. Paris is not nice. Same way as for New York.
Yeah.
New York is like really bad place. Because it's actually true. They smoke a lot of weed and everything. It's very difficult. So I mean, like we say, oh, these developed countries.
Yeah.
I mean, like nobody shows this side of theirs. We say, oh, wonderful, but Paris is not a place to go. Paris is not a place to go.
Their countrysides are good and clean, but
all the cities are like this.
Berlin also I've heard.
Huh? It is.
Yeah.
No, the most. Imagine the most safest countries are not this. These Arabs.
Yeah, Dubai.
Dubai, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. Every of these countries are much safer.
But then again, the thing is, even in UK, all the new cases, they're all Pakistanis who are raping women. 90%.
Paris post
It's just somebody I posted it, so it doesn't mean that it is there. वो तो सिर्फ वो है कि see we are talking only about that portion. If you go and very clearly everybody says like please don't go Paris.
Italy first
it's like imagine you go to Bombay and you are in Bandra and people are like Bandra's great and then you go to like
Bandra Colaba is nice, but if you then you go to Dharavi.
It's mostly, to be honest, immigrants who are committing this crime, and they are consolidated.
That's the reason why. So Europe says, "Oh, look at our country, we're so pretty. What is happening? It's all rubbish." So they have become so anti-immigrants. Yeah. They don't allow immigrants to come in. Germany, France,
also like that now.
Italy, every European country, they are like no more people from. It's not even Pakistanis. It's Africans. Maldives तो कोई है ही नहीं, बाहर से आते ही नहीं है. वो सिर्फ टूरिस्ट आते हैं. I mean, like हमें कहते हैं कि India is not safe or pretty. India is much safer as compared to these countries. No, but then again, I will not say it is the Europeans doing it.
Yeah, it's not that.
Well, UK people are very rude. I mean, like, it's a fact. The English are, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So because they made so much money, the people वहाँ पे free पैसा मिलता है हर किसी को.
Yeah.
The free पैसा मिलता है, they do nothing.
Yeah.
They do nothing throughout the day. They go to the bar, they drink alcohol. जो उनके पुराने telephone stands होते थे, those are basically the pee stands nowadays.
Yeah.
So on road, the people are peeing.
And UK has a big problem with this people targeting underage kids.
Yes. So it's not that India is way better. I mean, like, nobody tells about what these countries are pathetic about.
Yeah.
Because if you give somebody free money, what they do? Everybody goes to a pub at 9 o'clock in the morning. They get done by 12 o'clock. They're drunk all day.
They walk around drunk.
They walk around drunk. They're peeing everywhere. That's it. And the police doesn't say anything.
Okay.
That's also a fact. Because where people don't get, if I give somebody free, in India, if I give everybody free money, okay, I'm just telling you, half our population would be drinking Malta and they would be running around. At least they are working.
I think the Nordic countries are doing.
They are doing better. But it is true, if you give, in India also, free. Suppose I give somebody 600 rupees every day. What would you think the population would do? Thankfully, they have to work. After working, they get drunk, whatever it is. But if they were not to work, India would be also similar. So that is the case of it. Same thing happens. In UK, it's just more open. They don't say it more openly, but it's actually true. So it's not that these countries are very nice.
And all the posh areas, there is no accessibility to normal people. So that looks great all the
time. The US also is like this. US, New York is pathetic. You had
LA.
Very interesting law as I told you, in California, very interesting law was there. If you're committing a crime less than $900, you're not picked up by the $900 से कम की चोरी की, so you will not be picked up. And ये check कर लेना. I'm not saying it. Check it yourself. YouTube पे they used to go in stores, blacks, Mexicans, they used to break open $900 से नीचे सामान उठा के देखते थे कि कितने का है. And then they would run away. And it used to happen every week. And they would come in mobs. Like, suppose there are 1,000 people, they would come in mobs, loot, and go away.
Even during LAFIS, people were going to people's houses and just take.
Yeah, that's also okay. ठीक है, जलना ही insurance ने pay करना, so insurance companies are big losses. Okay. In the last decades, Germany, France, and UK have called down the development fund. They were used to give money to the African countries. So they have reduced it because they say, why should we give money? We don't have money. Simple सा है कि why is the larger waning European influence कैसे हो रहा है? सबसे पहले तो पैसे कम देने स्टार्ट कर दिए. कम देंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली क्या होगा? कंट्रीज उन्हें सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे. तो अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज किस पे जा रही है? सेकंड, EU trade surplus has declined 15%, 55 बिलियन से 35 बिलियन हो चुका है अफ्रीका के साथ. वेयर चाइना का 70 बिलियन प्लस है सरप्लस. इतना इंडिया के साथ है. तभी पूरे अफ्रीका से जो उसे सरप्लस मिलता है वो इंडिया से इतना मिलता है चाइना को. चाइना will never attack India. Never attack it because we are so lopsided in terms of the trade imbalance. It can never. India is the biggest supporter for China in terms of economy. So you cannot do it. Make in India बोलते रहे. पटेल का स्टैचू सारा Chinese material है. That's a fact. पूरा स्टैचू का जो material है.
Sort of helping us also, right? For example, like China.
Pharmaceutical and everything, but we cannot. China is way ahead. We cannot survive without China. Pharmaceutical industry will close without China. We are saying make in India for phones. I agree, but all screens are coming from China. Okay. Military, Russia has benefited because Russia is now sending its troops. Russia ने पैसा कमाना है. That is the case of it. Which countries now? Which groupings are making their own currency? Which groupings are making their own currency? BRICS. They've been talking about it for 1.5 years. Trump has come. Now this is again going to go back. Why? Now, why? No, it is very clear that we need not dollars. Even now, this time around, नहीं तो ना अभी आपने देखा होगा रुपी 15% depreciate कर चुका है
Yeah.
within the last 2 months. But RBI never controlled it for the first time. RBI let the money fluctuate. They said, okay, let it fluctuate, it will work by itself. For a reason, because if we were to give, because how does RBI control the value of money? So it sells dollars. जो हमारे पास फॉरेन एक्सचेंज है वो ऑलरेडी पीक से बहुत कम हो चुका है. लाइक ज्यादा अगर $680 बिलियन है तो 10 बिलियन कम हो चुका है, अभी 670 पे है. इसको कम करने के लिए, रुपये को कम करने के लिए हमें क्या करना था? वी हैड टू सेल डॉलर्स बेचते हमारे फॉरेन. तो हमने बोला जो करना है रुपये को जैसे चलना है चलने दो, डिमांड सप्लाई रहेगी. अभी यूएस ज्यादा अपना डॉलर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं कर सकता बिकॉज उसके एक्सपोर्ट्स क्या हो जाएंगे? कम. हमारे एक्सपोर्ट कम हो चुके पर हमारे इंपोर्ट बढ़ रहे हैं. नाउ इट इज रिवर्सिंग. सबसे ज्यादा हम अभी रिसेंटली गोल्ड पे बहुत ज्यादा इंपोर्ट्स हो रहे थे, बहुत मनी गोल्ड पे जा रहा था. अभी क्या हो गया? इस बार गवर्नमेंट मोस्ट लाइकली गोल्ड के इंपोर्ट्स को बढ़ा देगी. गोल्ड महंगा होने वाला है, पहले ही बता, क्योंकि वी डोंट वांट आवर इंपोर्ट्स टू इंक्रीज. ऑयल तो हमें चाहिए. एंड कंसिडरिंग अभी प्रेजेंट डे सिचुएशन, ऑयल इज गोइंग टू stay constant because world is now again coming back to an easy order. कैसे? First of all, Red Sea problems खत्म होगी. क्यों? पाकिस्तान में तो गोल्ड ऑयल मिला है, इंडिया में भी ऑयल मिला है. इंडिया में ऑयल बहुत मिला है. JNK में भी मिला है इनको, वहाँ पे कराची साइड पे ऑयल भी है. ऑयल तो मिला है. क्या करेंगे? माइनिंग के लिए पैसे भी तो चाहिए. माइनिंग के पैसे भी तो होने चाहिए. They don't have money. पैसे तो चाहिए ना ऑयल के लिए. निकालेंगे कैसे? पैसे कहाँ पे? China is going to take a lot of profits out of it. So
also it would benefit Pakistan.
It will benefit Pakistan, but Pakistan is more corrupt than us in terms of the politicians. So the country is already there used to be a time in 90s when Indian rupee and Pakistan rupee was same. Now basically it's 3 times Indian rupee. For their 10,000 is equivalent to 3,000. No, exactly. This is how the 3.33 times. So their cost inflation has increased so much. The value of money is depreciated.